We all want to create better and more content, right? I mean, whether you're a marketer, advertiser, small business owner, entrepreneur, we all want more and better content, but can you actually do that with AI? You can. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today on Everyday AI. So, welcome if you're new. This is a daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday people like you and me not just learn AI, because what's AI really is it going to help you if you just learn it? Nope. You have to leverage it. And that's what everyday AI is all about. It's about leveraging what we learn. And I'm excited for our guest today who's going to help us, and talk about how we can create better and faster content at scale with AI. But before we get to that, as a reminder, if you're joining us on the podcast, make sure to check those show notes. Come join the conversation and ask our guests. And if you are joining us live, get your questions in now about how you can use AI and the power of artificial intelligence to create better and more impactful content. But first, let's talk about what's going on in the world of AI news. All right, first up, will we all be working for robots soon? This kind of future that people are, warning us about could maybe happen. At least according to the former Labor Secretary of the U.S., Robert Reich, he warned that AI will be destabilizing for the U.S. middle class. In a recent interview with CNBC, he said that AI could potentially eradicate labor protections of the last 120 years. So real stuff there. And kind of related, in our next piece of AI news, the co-founder of DeepMind, Mustafa Solomon, said that AI assistants are probably coming much faster than we think. Solomon is the co-founder of DeepMind, which is Google's essentially AI arm that they own. And he said that within 5 years that we will all have AI assistants. So I've always said, I think the majority of us are going to have those probably sooner than we think, maybe in like a year or two. But this kind of AI pioneer predicted that it'll boost kind of productivity. And those personal AIs are going to know essentially everything. So, hey, if the Labor Secretary is talking about it, DeepMind CEO is talking about it, we might want to get used and comfortable with that idea. All right, last but not least, what does all this AI need? They need chips. If you've joined the show before, I talk a lot about chips because it's important for the future of generative AI and for our economy. But there is a new AI chip maker in the fold. So a new chip startup, D-Matrix, raised $110 million to create intelligent chips that can power all these different generative AI systems that we use, with some of that $110 million coming from Microsoft. So will this new D-Matrix be competing with NVIDIA, Intel, and the big names in the generative AI chip making game? We'll have to wait and find out. So as a reminder, if those things caught your ear, caught your eye, make sure to go to youreverydayai.com. That free daily newsletter that we put out every single day, it's going to have more on those stories. But that newsletter is going to be focused on today's guest, which I'm very excited to have on. So let's go ahead and bring on our guest for today. So please help me welcome Luke Kostka. He is the founder of New Normal Media. Luke, thank you for joining us from the West Coast of all places. So thank you for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's early, but I'm ready to go, baby.
Let's go. All right. Luke, just real quick, tell us a little bit about what you do and what New Normal Media is.
Yeah, so we help businesses, which is perfectly tied into this conversation, actually. We help businesses figure out where to start with content. Obviously, we use AI for a lot of the stuff that we have in our tech stack, but people they don't know, or they're scared of where to start and how to press record and how to get the studio set up. Pardon me, I'm in my garage right now. This is where I create a lot of my content, but my family is asleep, so I had to come down here. This is not my office. But anyways, yeah, that's what we do. And we've been helping quite a few people for the past few years. And now AI has, helped us boost our productivity and help more businesses and have those businesses run better and faster as well. So.
Yeah. And full disclosure, I told Luke this. If you've heard Luke's name or maybe seen his face or heard his voice, maybe you've been to the AdWorld conference, which is where I kind of know Luke from. So talk about that, Luke, and kind of ways that you help clients like AdWorld, create better content, and then we'll kind of transition after that how it all works with AI. But just real quick, just talk about how you work with different clients.
Yeah. So for AdWorld, they reached out to me. What was that? I think it's been almost 2 years now. 2 years ago, and they saw my content, so they wanted to create something like that. So they wanted kind of like a host, and so I mean, I started as a videographer, but I'm also just so happen to be, hopefully I'm fairly good in front of the camera. Some people could beg to differ. Um, but yeah, so I kind of just ran everything myself. I slowly got a team of people to help me do all the grunt work, the day-to-day stuff. But in the beginning, it was just me. I was scripting, recording, and posting um, 2 pieces of content on the weekdays, 2 pieces of content a day. And I've been doing this for about 3 years.
Wow.
So I got a good grasp on what worked and what didn't. Um, I had a few viral posts, gained, a few, I think 100,000 followers on my different platforms. But once AI came out for AdWorld, that's when things really started to see this like crazy boost. Um, so I was creating content, and then all of a sudden I saw all this news. What was it, October of last year or something like that? I saw this news on like ChatGPT 3 and Midjourney 4, and I was like, "What is this stuff?" And then I saw what it could do, and so I created this post for AdWorld about creating a company. It was like a women's clothing brand with
Mm.
AI. So I went to Midjourney. I created like a flat lay of their products with a logo, neutral tones, and then I went to Durable and I created a website in like 60 seconds for it. I went to ChatGPT, created all the copy for the website, um, and it was like the first one that went viral for AI, and then the whole company at AdWorld like kind of knew they kind of had to switch gears because of how well that video did. And so, as everyone in the marketing industry has, they switched a lot of their, not because of me, but just because
Mhm.
of like the success we found mutually in what AI, how important AI was to people. Obviously, with all the views and all the comments, it was. And so ever since then, I switched all my gears with AdWorld, and now I mostly talk about AI. They have a whole new AI track
Mhm.
where they have speakers come in, people that you've actually talked to, come in and talk about AI, and um, it's super important.
Yeah.
As you can tell, you have a podcast based on AI, so like it's just so important for the way that things are going, and yeah, that's what I do for AdWorld, and it's been really cool. I think I've got a lot of experience figuring out people's minds, how people's minds work is what I've gotten the most experience in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a shift. And I even saw that, we were talking, I've attended AdWorld for years. My main company, Accelerant Agency, has had, sponsor booths at AdWorld, the digital booths. So I'm sure a lot of people will really relate to that shift. Right. And it's not
Yeah,
just AdWorld that's gone through that shift. It is the industry, right?
yeah,
But before we get into that, I do want to remind everyone, get your questions in for Luke, because Luke really knows what he's talking about. So thank you for, if you are joining us live, Ahmed saying the best time of day. Thank you, Ahmed. Val, hopefully making our mornings fun. Yes, thank you. Maybrit with the comment, I feel like you know me too well. Each episode is exactly what I need for all my projects. Early check-in. So Luke, let's get back to that and let's talk about that shift. Kind of like what you talked about, how AdWorld even started to make this shift on, helping, marketers and advertisers across the world keep
yeah.
up with generative AI. So
Mhm.
even for you personally, let's talk about how that shift has happened, and how has AI kind of changed your workflow for new normal media. And then let's just even talk a little bit about what that workflow even looks like now.
Yeah. So it started out with myself, just like pumping out content, working my butt off, working late through the night and everything. So I knew that had to change because I have 2 kids, super young kids, and I was just like, okay, we need to figure this out. And that was like right when AI kind of came out. So
Mhm.
I wanted to start utilizing it so I can get some time back with my family. And that's what I did. And um, some of the tech stack that I use, I come up with all the scripting for a lot of my clients. ChatGPT, unfortunately, is not very funny. And I create a lot of content that is based around comedy. My wife, maybe she doesn't think I'm as funny as I do, but hey, I've gotten at least a few laughs here and there. But so I have to enter into ChatGPT like just an idea factory, pretty much is what I call it. Like
Mhm.
I need it to spit me out like 20 ideas. And so I figured out prompting. I figured out how to create something that'll just spit me out ideas for my client. Um, and and once I have those ideas, then I can iterate on them. Because if you come up with a script or scripting for your videos from ChatGPT straight up, it's most likely going to be like super cheesy. Um, it might give you like good facts, it might give you valuable information, which is great, but you need to be iterating on your ChatGPT outputs. And so then I go to ChatGPT. I send the script to my client, and we base it all off of the pain points of our client. So you have to be asking ChatGPT, what are the pain points of my client? What are the 25 pain points of someone who is thinking about going solar but just
Mhm.
hasn't done it, or whatever the client is, a chef? What are the pain points of someone watching, cooking content? Like, what do they want? What do they need? Come up with those pain points and base your whole marketing strategy off of those pain points. Um, and then once you do that, once you have like a little script, you run it by your client, they approve, they don't approve, they, critique some things. And then what I do is I just have either a call or I have a videographer go to their office, and we get their studio set up and we just film. We film all these questions that we've had ChatGPT help us with. We batch content and we take all that footage. Sometimes it's on a platform like this. We use Riverside
Mhm.
to get like, it's like Zoom on steroids, and we get all that footage from all those questions we asked them, and hopefully, add some B-roll to it to, if let's say you're in Chicago, we're in Southern California, we try to like, have their company grab B-roll, which is like, footage to grab on top of the main footage. And then we piece everything together with my video editor. My buddy from this company called weassist.io. It's we outsource some of the stuff. It's called weassist.io, and they are just amazing. They send you rounds and rounds of interviews to get whatever assistant that you want. We have a video editor who's phenomenal. They're based out of the Philippines. He lives in the Philippines. He's from San Diego, and it's like a family. It's really cool. It's different from anything I've seen on like Fiverr or anything. It's amazing. And so get this like yesterday, because it's helped my business so much. And then we run, through tools like Descript is one that we run it through. They do a great job on, subtitles and small editing here and there. We use the Adobe suite, so we have Premiere Pro, and anything else we'd want. Photoshop Beta is a big one for me, and then obviously, Mid Journey for a lot of the graphics. From what I've seen, like it's the graphics from Mid Journey are not saturated yet. They're getting there. It's getting there to the point to where, okay, like everything looks like Mid Journey, but it's not there yet. Like there's some people that still don't even know what Mid Journey is.
Right? Yeah, it's
And
crazy. It's crazy to think, because I feel we talk about Midjourney, see it so much, but yeah, even ChatGPT, right, Luke? Like, there's
yeah,
actually people that strangely enough, that I'll talk to in my daily life, and they're like, "What's Chat GPT?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay, maybe
yeah.
I live in an AI bubble."
No, that's good though. It our jobs, like, we have a lot of work. Like like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who need us, you know?
Absolutely. So you kind of walked us through some of your process, and I'm sure there's still a handful of other tools that you use. But I do want to get to a couple questions here, and then maybe we can tap back into some of your processes here. So Brian with a great question. If you're using any automation tools in conjunction with ChatGPT, which I think is a great idea. I'm a huge automation nerd, but Luke, what about you? Are you using any tools in conjunction with ChatGPT?
Yeah, so, I have, like, a back end person. Okay, so we have a lot of people who are, probably different brained than me. I'm a creative, and so I am, like, super high level, the guy who just plans out the big ideas and stuff
Mhm.
like that in our company. I'm not the back end person, but we definitely do have, we've used the API for some things and different integrations and Zapier and all that. Um, and we it's great for marketing. When we have people come in, we obviously have ChatGPT come up with, like, automated responses, for different clients. We have a questionnaire where we have it, where they come in and they ask us mainly about, like, their home studio,
Mhm.
um, and it automates a response about their home studio and says, like, where is it? Is there ambient sound? What does it look like? All that stuff. But for me, like, that's probably not a good question for me to answer. My partner Josh would probably be the best for that answer.
Perfect. All right, here we have another one here. So Woozy, thank you for joining us. Woozy asking any Chat GPT plugins you like specifically for marketing or content creation.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm
so
a huge plugin nerd, so I'm excited for
yeah.
this one, Luke.
Yeah, so I created a lot of content about ChatGPT plugins, probably like 50 videos about different ones each time. And I found one. It's not Visla, but it might be Visla. It was like a video VSL
Yep.
creator, and it created VSLs, and that was cool. Um, and I went over 50 different ones, and, like, I never found one that I was like, "Okay, this is gonna change my life."
Mm,
And so if it doesn't do that for me, I don't use it. And so, like, I kind of and if there are any, please let me know because that would help with my situation. Please let me know because I would love that. But I ran through the top 50, and I know there's different ones every day, so there might have been one popped up, but this was,
mhm.
like, 3 months ago when I stopped doing
Yeah.
content about plugins, because I didn't find one that I was like, "Okay, yeah, this is gonna change my life," you know?
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. So I'm going to ask this. A lot of people, I think, out there, whether they had, a content creation company, kind of like yourself, my company, we create content, but I think AI has allowed everyone to kind of become a content creator. So, given the fact that you had a successful business kind of before generative AI helped make content creation so easy, what's the number one mistake that you see people making, especially when they're using AI and maybe they're creating content that's not that great and creating, not like garbage content at scale, but they're creating mediocre content at scale. What's the one mistake that you see people making, and how can they fix that?
The biggest mistake I see people making is not being authentic,
Mm,
and it's so obvious to me when it's because we're in the industry and we can sniff it out better, but, like, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a huge problem. The inauthenticity of people using ChatGPT and just posting that without iterating, or not being very good at Midjourney and posting a visual, thinking, "Oh, like, honey, come look at this picture. It's awesome." It's like you really need to study. You can't just start using AI and post it and let that be it. You really have to iterate and have to practice and have to take courses on this stuff, or get someone else to do it for you, because there's going to be a tipping point. And I've been saying this to everyone that I talk to. In the next few years, it's going to be so saturated that you're going to need to figure out, with AI, you're going to need to figure out how to become different and how to be
Mm,
unique. And that's why I think video's it's the last like AI tool that is going to like look good.
yeah.
Images are great, text is great, but video is not really close to me. Like, you have HeyGen and all that stuff that automates your face and automates your
Hmm.
mouth moving. It's not there yet. It's getting there, but it's not there yet. And I just think that authenticity is so important, with AI. Using AI just to start out, like, don't post it all over the place. Don't make that be your first. It is fun and it's cool and it's exciting, but like you have to keep tabs on what you're doing. Start with like automation, start with creating stuff in the back end, and then really study if you want to post it in, on socials.
Yeah. That's such a great call out there, Luke. Because I've I could talk for hours about what this even means for consumers because, probably 3 to 5 years ago, any content that you consumed would generally be coming from a trained professional, right? Like for the most part. And now with generative AI, I think the consumer is just drowning almost in subpar content because subpar content you can create thousands of pieces in minutes, right? So even on the flip side, so I said, what's the one thing content creators, when dipping their toe into Gen AI should look to avoid? I'm going to flip it now. What has been your most important kind of step or action that you've taken with generative AI that has paid dividends for you as an experienced content creator?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like there's two sides of that question. One of them is I post about AI. And so I think, being really specific in my content and actually showing people how to
Mm,
use the AI tools, like literally, I posted about myself in a selfie mode and I said, "Hey, check out this tool." I said something like, this tool is stupid or something like that. And it was a good hook. And then I showed the tool, showed how to use it, and I got 6.8 million views. And
mhm.
so, like, just being specific about what you're talking about is going to be super, super helpful if you're
Mm.
posting about AI stuff. For all the people who aren't, making content about AI, and for myself, just generally, um, I mean, if you know how to use ChatGPT, you can pretty much do anything. If you can study ChatGPT and figure out how, like prompt engineering, that's going to be the most important thing for the broad scale of businesses. If you can figure out how to like automate your prompts and
Mhm.
create prompts for your business, kind of like an SOP, to where you can get your employees just to, hey, I need a prompt for a new client. Boom. And then you just type it in, have it go onto the website and grab some information from the website. And then boom, you have everything that you need in relation to your business and that client. Um, I would say a prompt tool belt, and
Yeah.
like just have SOPs as prompts for ChatGPT. That's the thing that's really changed the game for us is it figuring out ChatGPT.
Yeah. It's it sounds almost I'd say like there's so much noise out there, specifically even with ChatGPT, that you really have to Luke, I love what you said is create SOPs for your business, right? I think so many people are just trying to see what's trending on the internet, or what this person is saying about ChatGPT, and try to make it work for you. But Luke, you bring up such a good point where it's actually the opposite. You need to understand what your business needs and then use ChatGPT and other tools around that. So we've covered actually so much. So Luke, we went over a little bit on your background. We went over some of your favorite AI tools, do's and don'ts. But what's your last piece of advice for maybe you've inspired someone, maybe you've taught someone something about AI that they didn't know previously. What's that one takeaway that you hope people can take from you and from this conversation to start actually leveraging AI in whatever they do? What's that one thing?
Yeah, I think that one thing is getting your time back,
Mm,
and that's what AI has done for me. And I want people to understand like the heart behind everything, and just being able to be a good person to your friends and your family. That's what AI gave me. I was working all day, every day, and night, and I was able to use chat gpt and midjourney and other tools to give me back all my time, because I wasn't writing, I wasn't doing all this
mm,
stuff anymore. I was having chat gpt do it. So if you can leverage that, and anybody can, most people can do it. Obviously if you're a doctor and all that stuff, like, you can't use it as like I do, but most people who are remote workers can make this happen. Whether that means maybe you want to use it and go do more work, that's
mhm,
great. But utilizing ChatGPT just to enhance your life, enhance yourself as a person, a friend, and I think that's just like the advice that people need to hear. It's not just to like make you do a ton more necessarily. It's to make I think it's a great tool to give you your time back. If that's how people see it, then it's just going to make the world a better place. Because there's so much negativity in the future of what AI can do. Because it's crazy, crazy tool. But I think people need to start leveraging it to be better humans.
mm. So good. This is one, y'all. If you tune in late, hit the replay, hit the rewind, listen to this one. Luke, thank you so much. And hey, just quick as a reminder, check out New Normal. We're going to be putting all this in the newsletter. So if you aren't subscribed to the newsletter and you couldn't take notes fast enough, just go to youreverydayai.com. Make sure to check out the show notes. We're going to have links to a lot of the things that Luke was talking about, some of the advice. And hey, he also dropped, which I swear I didn't even ask him to, but even talking about Zapier, which is actually our show tomorrow. So make sure you join us for that one. But hey, Luke, thank you so much for coming on the show and for joining us. We really appreciate you sharing all of your insights.
Yeah, no problem. It's great having you guys. Great way to start my morning too.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, hey, we hope to see you back tomorrow for that Zapier and just more of everything at Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.